Hey friends! Since I'm turning 26 this week, I wanted to take the opportunity to reflect on my life a little bit. I want to share my biggest lessons that I've learned in my 25 years of living. And if this is not your topic of interest, no problem. We will see each other next week for another video about learning Japanese and Japanese language school. But in case you want to get to know me better, keep watching. The most important thing I've learned is no one is gonna save you. You need to save yourself. I know this sounds a bit dark, but it's so true. I've struggled with depression and anxiety multiple times in my life, and I've always sat around waiting for someone to save me, to pull me out of my dark hole and out of my victim mentality, instead of me trying to locate the root issue and working my way through it. But guess what? No one came. I had to do it myself, and it was quite a lot of work, but I went to therapy and it got a lot better. And also, going to therapy doesn't mean you're broken, it just means you need a little bit of help, and we all need help in our lives sometimes. And on the same note, no one is gonna fight for your dreams. If you're just sitting around letting life happening to you, you probably won't reach your goals. I always knew that I wanted to be a self-employed nutritionist and also live in Japan for a longer amount of time, but doing either of them seemed quite scary, let alone doing both at once. So I waited around for a few years, took life as it came, and wondered why I wasn't happy. But last year I finally took the first steps. As you all know, I'm currently preparing to move to Japan next year, and starting this month, I will also be a part-time self-employed nutritionist. So if you're interested in some nutrition counseling, I will put all the information down below. If you've liked the video so far, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe if you want to stay updated with my life, me learning Japanese, going to language school, etc. And let's continue with the next lesson that I've learned. Go where your fear lies. I only learned this last year, but fear is actually nothing you want to avoid but lean into. If you think about it, what are you truly scared of? For me, it was becoming a self-employed nutritionist, of course, because it was so overwhelming and it means so much to me because it's my dream. I always feared if I started to go in that direction and I mess up, then I can't realize my dreams. But that's also not true, because if I mess up, I will pick myself up, learn from my mistakes, and I will try again. If you're always avoiding the things that you're scared of because they mean a lot to you, what is there in life that you can enjoy? Because the things that matter the most to you, you're avoiding. So how are you truly gonna be happy? This brings us to lesson number 3. No matter how much you distract yourself, your problems won't go away. They will only get louder. As long as I can remember, I always distracted myself from my problems instead of dealing with them. Because when I was a child, when I was sad, for example, I turned to emotional eating, which led me to being overweight. And also when I felt lonely, I always turned to books or watching TV. But I never really addressed my loneliness. I always tried to suffocate it, but that didn't help. It actually only increased and made it worse. I'm still trying to figure this out because I still catch myself distracting myself from my problems, especially with social media, or always having voices around me so that I don't have to think. But of course, this is not really helpful, because only when you address your problems and chip away at them one piece at a time, you can hopefully solve it. I only started this year to look at my attachment issues and all the self-sabotage that is going on in my head, and how much I try to avoid people even though I really want to connect with them. But obviously, avoiding people doesn't really help with building the deep connections that I truly desire. And lesson number 4 is, if you make everything a priority, nothing is a priority. And as someone who has a lot of hobbies and interests, I always take on the next thing and the next thing, and I always fill up my calendar to the brim with projects and things I want to do because I really enjoy them, but they also suck me dry because I don't have unlimited energy to do everything, which always leads to something coming short. And right now it's my relationships and also downtime for myself. And to be honest, I feel like a circus artist that's spinning plates on a stick, being always afraid of a plate to drop and crash. And I know I have to sort everything out, but I think it's hard because I don't want to cut things out of my life, but I think this is what eventually needs to happen, and I'm still working on that. Let me know in the comments if you found a great way to deal with that. And the last lesson that I've learned is you're not the only one struggling. Before I started to talk to people about my depression and anxiety, I always thought I was the only one in my social circle that dealt with that, but I quickly realized that almost everyone struggled with depression and social anxiety one time in their life. And I was really surprised, and it also was a quite comforting feeling because I felt like, okay, there are a lot of people that I can talk to that experience the same thing. But of course, if I didn't talk to them, I wouldn't have known. So this is also a thing that I've learned, to talk more about my struggles and learnings with other people, because you might be surprised on how many people have the same struggles as you. And I also saw this in our gym because there were a lot of women struggling with their pelvic floor after giving birth, and every one of them thought they were the only ones having those problems, but there were so many women, like almost everyone struggled with it. So those were the most important lessons that I've learned in my 25 years of living on this earth. If you found the video interesting and also know someone who might be interested in it as well, please share it with them. And I will see you in my next video next Sunday. See you then. Bye bye!